Well, hi. Well, what is today? The 1st? I think it is. I think today's June 1st. Anyway, I had an interesting day. I had quite an awakening happen, and they happen all the time, but it was something that really kind of struck me because it came out of a speech I watched from Notre Dame. I think it was probably the valedictorian speech. Anyway, this young man was giving the talk, and when he was speaking, he was mentioning how he was actually there because of a joke, and the joke didn't have a punchline, and there was a how did it go? Let me think here. There was a priest, a rabbi, and a Muslim went into a bar. It wasn't a priest, it was a Christian, a Muslim, and a Jew went into a bar. There was no punchline. The thing that had him talking about that was that there was a lady who was a Christian who married a man who was a Muslim. And they had a daughter who became a Christian and married a Muslim. I think that's how it went. And they had a child who was now a Christian, a Muslim, and a Jew all combined in one. That's why there's no punchline. Because it wasn't a joke. And anyway, it just kind of really struck me. So I'm listening to this because it's not an unusual start to some joke. But I've heard it before. But what he said was melting down into the fact that everything we do is so rooted in duality that we can't separate it as a people. We societies, everything is so dualistic. And he mentioned the fact that it was binary. And to me, that word was so synchronistic with something I've been learning over the past year. And I had never heard of non-binary, people who identify as being non-binary. And the automatic response by everybody who hears it, that isn't aware of it, is that it had something to do with your sexuality. And it can't. The thing is, being non-binary is so broad that it's not just about this. It's about the entire fact that people in society, because of the dualism, live in a binary world. And when you try to identify as not being part of that binary system, that everybody is the same. There is no he or she, there's they and them. And that always threw me, because when this was introduced to me, the first thing I thought was, well, how many of you are there? Because they and them and not I and me. But it's not that physical being or identity of the physical being that we're talking about. We're talking about the consciousness. You are all of us. We identify with who we are, but our physical sex or our physical whatever, if we alter it, if we decide that since we're one sex but we don't feel like we belong to that, we want to be identified as the other, whose business is it? It's not anybody's. And then if you throw up the Christian response, which I can't even figure out how come so many people that are identified this way are, it's like being gay and coming out. But it isn't just sexuality. It's everything. We get this binary thing in our elections, in our politics in general. Everything in this world is binary. But us, our soul, our consciousness, who we really are, is never binary. We are who we are. I am that I am. That is who I am. It's not this identity of I'm a man, or I'm a woman, or I'm a boy or a girl, or if I'm whatever the other aspects are. I'm a Republican or I'm a Democrat. I'm black, I'm white. Everything is that dualism and binaryism that there is a large movement I was totally unaware of about self-identity. And when I heard it in that speech, it made me cry because it was such an awareness in me of this fact. And I was oblivious to it my whole life. I mean, I've been talking about dualism and I understand all that, but that term non-binary carries more weight because it's your identity. It's not this document that's written. Because if you really get down to it, we were all female until the decision at some level in our DNA made us into the male. But there is more than just the chemical response to things that dictate what sex we are, because there are more men born following a war. All of a sudden, the population starts producing more men. Well, they just went to war. That's kind of inherent in our DNA. That's a response. And that's the thing with duality and the non-binary is it's not about what you think you are. It's about relating to that the energy that's going to come back, the reflection of your trying to be something that they don't understand gives back that energy that makes it feel like you're not accepted because of this belief, when in fact it is that judgment of everybody else that is holding everybody else back. They're locked in that and they can't get out of it. And it's just symptomatic of our whole life. We are locked in this life, in this script of how we think and how we operate. And we are closed-minded to any other version of this thing. And if we're really scared of it and we don't understand it, we default back to the religion and pull out the Bible and start quoting things from, 5,000 years ago or whatever. And the whole thing is that we are supposed to represent progress. Every generation we come through is a life of learning, and our frequency modulates following each one of those lifetimes. It alters the next one. That's karma. The things we learn, we bring with us. But when you step outside of your consciousness into the dualistic world, karma is no longer that. Karma is a reflection of whatever you do or you think or how you are projecting something. The karma is that reflection. It's not the same. Because the true karma is that what you have brought with you may not be a memory now, but it is imprinted on your very consciousness. And you can access all of that memory if you can take that dualism, non-binary it, and bring it to within you, and don't expect any other kind of response from outside than you would with anything else if it wasn't real, because the response is just judgment based in nothing. We are here individually in our own universe. We just interact. Our fields overlap, and it's a whole crystalline structure that we live in, and one thing influences everything else. But in order to get out of this, right now we are going through a huge change. I mean, something is going on right now that I can feel right in my core. Somebody's tinkering with the frequency, for me at least, because it's affecting things in my field. The biggest one lately has been this very thing I'm talking to, the camera, because the phone for me has been acting just bizarrely for the last week. I mean, things start happening before I touch the phone, and it's like my energy is getting tuned to something different, and the phone is reacting to that change in my frequency by dialing numbers before I even touch the phone, and they aren't the number I'm trying to call. They're just arbitrary numbers, usually attached to some business, who then starts calling me back. But it is this thing that we are going through, or we're trying to move our frequency up. And it's not everybody, because the people who are moving are the ones who have got a grip on this non-dualism, this non-binary. And to not, I'm not sure what you would call it. It's a knowing that this is right. This is what is happening, and it's not something that I want to miss out on. I understand it, so I want this frequency change to happen. And then with the things I know of my past, I know that it's time, and it's supposed to happen. I'm just ready to, let's kick it in the ass and make it go. Anyway, I just wanted to chat a little bit. Haven't talked in a couple of days, so anyway, I have a good one, and talk to you guys later.